She's never said you're either trapped in your garage or
she wasn't home, her car wasn't home. All right, well, we have a quorum, so we will get started here then. So, 7:02, I'd like to call the committee of the whole meeting. Just to remind you that this is an informal meeting, so with all respect, if somebody has a question in a respectful way, we're welcome to take it and listen to it. So, first order of business is the call for pecuniary interest regarding the agenda. I don't believe there's anything there. So the next item is the agenda. Are there any deletions or additions? Anybody has anything? Having none, can I get a motion to accept the agenda as is?
I'll move the agenda as is.
Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, so new business. The very first item, the audit financial statements for 2024. And we have Mike here, and I believe we have CFO Cindy on the screen there. So, Cindy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Would you like to start it off?
Yeah, for sure. Well, Michael, thank you for coming tonight. I know it's after hours and it is tax season. So thanks for coming. We've got the financials ready for your consideration tonight to be passed at the regular meeting at the end of the month. We have worked very hard to get them done early this year, and I believe the audit went very smoothly. It's probably the best one we've had yet. So next year, the bar is set high. I will let Michael take over and go over the financials with you, and then we can answer any questions you have when he's finished.
All right, thank you, Cindy. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so I'm Michael Under. I'm from Singer Lopez and Steeman, the accounting firm. So first off, found a lot of positive things coming out of the year, both operationally and financially for the town. Huge kudos to Cindy, Donna, and team for great work. The audit went well, very smooth. All the year-end working papers were ready for us, labeled in binders, kind of ready. Everything was good to go, so there was no significant issue or lags in any way throughout our audit. So I'll go through, I can go through the financial statements first.
Whatever order you want.
I was going to do audit results. So the next one. So giving an overview of our audit results report. So we're issuing an unqualified opinion on the audit. So that's a clean opinion. There were no major issues or concerns throughout the audit, so we had full cooperation from the town. There were no significant audit adjustments or misstatements noted, and all accounting policies are disclosed in note 1 of the financial statements. Again, we had great experience working with management and staff. We'd like to thank the team for support throughout the audit. They were great, always good to work with, and we had everything we needed. No significant unusual transactions to note. No material alternative accounting treatments in the year, and no disagreements with management. Overall, no serious difficulties encountered dealing with management that needed to be disclosed. Next page, please. No fraud or legal acts were noted or came up through discussion with internal management. We usually do like to also ask council if they're aware of any fraud or legal acts that have happened in the year.
Not that I know.
Sorry, that's it. No subsequent events of note that we're aware of, and no related party transactions to note. And then the last page, I'm going to talk about, so the internal control observations. So similar to last year, we have just this GST observation on here. So now this year, this one's partially resolved as the GST returns have now been filed and we're up to date. The only thing we don't have yet is the notice of assessments on those returns. So once we get the notice of assessments to kind of confirm that they've been assessed as filed, then we'll remove this observation. So that could be before we issue or before this is officially approved. But overall, great year for the audit, operationally, and then we'll go look at the financials. So page 2 and 3 are the independent auditor's report. So that just again says we're issuing an unqualified opinion, and that describes also the responsibilities as us as auditors and the responsibilities of management and council. To page 4 is the statement of financial position. So in 2024, you can see an increase in total assets this year, sitting at just over 3.5 million at the end of the year for financial assets. Total liabilities are down just over just over 7.5 million. Decrease is mainly due to the recognition of deferred revenues and paying down some term debt. Net financial debt was just under 4 million, which is an overall improvement from the prior year by nearly 550,000. Prepaids and intangible assets and tangible capital assets were both down. That's due to depreciation taken, and overall just over 15 million in accumulated surplus at the end of the year. Total revenues, the next page. Total revenues for the year were similar to last year, sitting at 3.75 million at the end of the year. Municipal tax revenues were up. Sales and user charges and franchise fees were also all up compared to last year, whereas government transfers for operating rentals interest were down compared to last year. Looking at expenses, they were overall pretty similar to the prior year, down slightly. Major expense lines were parks and recreation, administration, common, and water supply and distribution. Looking at the other items, government transfers for capital was up at 590,000 this year, and amortization of capital assets was also up at 769,000. Overall, $417,000 surplus for the year. So yeah, it was a great year kind of operationally and financially for the town. We had nothing but good things to kind of report. Next page, statement of changes in financial debt. So briefly, there was an overall decrease in net financial debt of 541,000, largely due to the surplus of 417,000 this year. Next page is the statement of cash flows. So that just shows the town's cash ins and outs. An overall cash decrease of 115,000 compared to last year. The remainder of the financials are the schedules and the notes. I wasn't planning to go through those in detail unless there's anything specific you guys wanted me to talk about. So yeah, otherwise, that's it for me.
All right, thank you very much. So obviously it's a lot for just one night just to look at it. So we're going to bring it back, and I urge the councillors and everybody to look at it, and you have some questions for the 22nd. We're bringing it back, I believe, Donna, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, your worship. And yeah, no, it looks very good, and so I appreciate the work you guys come in there, and we'll go onward. Cindy, is there anything you want to say before we make a motion to accept it?
No, just that it was a good year, and administration's working hard to keep expenses under control and to grow the municipality and fix the things that were broken, and we're just working hard.
All right. Thank you. Questions for anybody else in the councillors?
No, that's really good.
Okay, if I can get a motion to accept the audit report for information, and we're going to bring it back for approval on the 22nd.
I can make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, Mike. Have a safe drive back. I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so 5.2, library budget submission. Ladies, I see we've got quite a few attendants here. That's good. Cindy, do you want to talk about this one again?
Yeah, I can. So the library has submitted their request, their 3-year budget proposal with reserve funds policy and their 3-year capital expenditure proposal. Administration has reviewed this proposal and found it to be extremely informative and well thought out. We believe that the library provides a vital service to the community and we support their mandate. Per the library's reserve funds policy that they passed, the library has allocated a recommended minimum level of $20,000 in their operating reserve and $10,000 in their capital reserve. Currently, the library has allocated $57,000 to reserves as per their proposal. In the library's request letter, they are asking for an increase of $18,000 to bring their requested funding to $53,000 for the 2025 budget. This is a proposed increase of $4,000 from last year. The $18,000 increase would result in a $6,840 increase to our overall budget, as it is offset by Leduc County's contribution. So administration just had identified some areas of concern for council to be aware of, is that the capital plan presented will deplete the reserves to lower than the minimum levels in the policy with no plan to replenish the reserve funding in their future budgeting. No actuals for 2024 were provided, despite being requested in all correspondence between the library board and administration, and no quote for the 2025 capital projects were provided to ensure that the critical upgrades identified were indeed priced appropriately in the plan. Administration would like to assure council that our assistance to prepare the plan and ensure that it was sufficient to secure the funding necessary to keep this community staple viable and was offered on multiple occasions, and the library board has yet to request our assistance. So administration is recommending through motion of council that this submission be accepted as for information for the spring budget adjustments at the regular meeting on April 22nd, 2025. And just to note, I did include their increase in the budget submission for that, which is like the next topic that we're talking about tonight. So it is in there in the overall budget.
All right, thank you very much. So it sounds like you ladies did quite a bit of work there. I appreciate that, for doing that. And as Cindy explained there, you know, we haven't turned it down. We're just waiting for the adjustments here. We'll have the meeting on the 22nd, and then we will make the final announcement on it. But it sounds like all the information that we required is there. So.
There was a couple of things, and Cindy, I apologize for not getting back to you in regards to the 223's actual, the 24's actual. It is actually currently under review. Ours is not, the library board has not gotten their final numbers yet, and so it's very difficult to hand them over to you until the board gets. Yeah, so
will you have them before the 22nd?
Not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of out of our control once we give it to the reviewer. Yeah, so sorry about that.
Yeah.
We'll try to get it done sooner next time for you. I also, you'd asked for some quotes, and so what I did do is in between, and of course, I don't work full time at the library, so some of this was done on the weekend, which is why it wasn't handed over to you. So I do have some quotes that I did bring, and I also actually brought a picture of, because it's something that I wasn't sure if the council actually understood what we were requesting, which was our electrical being moved around. Right now we have cords like you have here with duct tape around them to get to our computers. And of course we have people with wheelchairs and strollers and stuff, and they can't get around. And also it is kind of a, what we call a tripping hazard. WC would not like to see it. What I have here is a picture of what we're looking at doing.
We know.
Do you know? Exactly. So you kind of get what you got what we're doing. Okay. And I did actually go on and kind of get an idea of what the coverage that we're looking at and how much they cost. So if you do need these, I can, of course, supply them to you. And the cost of computers is what, that was actually the first years that we were discussing. So.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, Your Worship, to Madam Chair. Yeah, don't be afraid to give quotes. We have to do the same thing in the municipality. We know that they're not going to stick after 30 or 60 days. We know that. So we always typically, when we're budgeting, add a bit more. It's not a problem because that's the world we're living in. So don't be afraid to get quotes.
Okay.
And we think depending on what your quote is for the computers, like, let me know. We think we can help you do better on those computers, for sure. Probably to save maybe a couple $1,000 quite easily. Yeah, absolutely. And, don't ever, I say this on behalf of Cindy and I, don't ever be afraid, I shouldn't say afraid, but don't ever be worried that you're bothering us, okay? Just come in.
Careful what you wish for.
I've been saying this for 3.5 years, nobody's beat me yet, so you're good. But, we certainly have no problem assisting you, helping you do stuff, maybe helping you figure out some stuff, giving you ideas. So don't be afraid to come in, seriously, any of you. When I know you're coming, I'll leave, but don't be afraid to come in.
I can chase you down.
You probably can right now. So, no, we have a very open door policy, for sure. So, and we may be able to get suppliers that you don't know, we'll be able to figure things out for you that you may not know, and the fact that you worked on the weekend, welcome to the consulting world.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah, we're in your corner, we really are.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So is there anything else that you need from us so that we can make this a little bit leaning towards the yes?
All I would like to point out, oh, sorry, Mr. Mayor, because you can't see me, can you?
No.
Go right ahead.
Okay, can you see me now? Okay, there we go. The only thing is I would just, about how I mentioned that you're going to deplete your reserves and you have no line item in your budget for transfers to reserves. So at the end of your 3 years, you're going to have less in your reserve funds than your policy states you must have.
And we wouldn't deplete our reserve. Yeah, their plan is hopefully that every year, whatever we have left over and our interest should actually, is automatically going to go into our reserves. And if we reach a certain point, then that means that we won't be going into, because the ones that we mentioned this year are the most vital. Everything after that is a little bit more not necessary at this stage, right? So we could take a couple of years before we do it. Does that make sense?
Okay. It does. It's just that your income statement is at a loss every year. So if I'm looking at that as a planning tool, you have no money to put into reserves because you're losing money every year.
Okay. But we do have money right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So
Anything
just to
else?
take a look at those kinds of things, and that's, if you need help, just let me know and I can help you.
I can put the crust in for you. I like Creston.
She lives in Costa Rica.
No way. Seriously?
Yeah, I just heard a rumor.
She can change the background. In the background. But thank you, Cindy. Yeah, your point is well taken. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. Just one thing, and that's why we bring it up. We have to do the same with the municipality rate. If we're gonna transfer to reserve, so we can or can't, we just adjust the policy, right? So make sure your policy is static a little bit, so that you're doing what your policy says, because you can always amend a policy, right?
Yes.
And you don't want to get trapped in the fact that you are, but you can't, but you don't.
Yes.
And then your financial statements may be looked at with that reserve policy. So
And so it kind of too much?
yeah, it might. So just make sure that you do what your reserve policy says you're going to do. If you can't, you amend that policy,
Gotcha.
like we have to, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you're amending it every 6 weeks, you're going to have a long call.
Too much work. Okay.
Then you're going to the principal's office up there on the street.
Then I'll come with you.
That's right. So,
Okay.
yeah, we just want to give you those tips.
Yeah, no,
because
please.
Sometimes you might, you're right, some years you may be able to put into reserve. Sometimes you may not. You may not make enough interest to put in reserve. Maybe there's a capital purchase that you need badly, and that's what happens to us. If there's something that goes wrong, like we had a complete pickup just die, so you got to get a new truck, we have to come to council to say, hello, this is what we need, we didn't plan for it, just like you have to do to your board and your trustees.
Yeah.
So just, if you want to talk to the board about the policy, and then if you want to bring it to us, we can take a look and see. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Those kinds of things we're happy to help with.
But we will not be depleting our reserve. We will, right now, we have no intentions of, and I realize what you're saying, we're suffering a lot. So but these are all very liquid numbers at the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, hopefully we won't get, but, and then, you know, make sure that the reserve was there and then move the capital projects further down the line.
Like we have to do.
Yeah,
We do that in every
yeah,
year.
Exactly.
And then that's by resolution, you adjust your capital budget.
Yeah, yeah.
But, things can happen,
Oh, absolutely.
and just keep communicating with them. If something happens that you're heading that direction, don't wait, just come see us, and we can, Cindy with her experience in that can figure out, do we adjust, do we figure out the policy, what else can we do to help you? Don't let it go. We have said too, a lot of years, we want to be able to add to our reserves every year here, but we've been so busy fixing and doing that, we haven't had a chance to put as much in as we want. So it's not that you're gonna intentionally deplete anything,
No.
absolutely not, but stuff happens,
Yeah.
you know, so you just keep an eye on it. If you need some help adjusting it, just come and talk for us.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I'd like to also say, thanks for the air conditioner.
I was just writing that on my report, I forgot to put it on.
Okay, I'm glad I brought it up. We all went, yay!
I had a question about all this.
Yep.
When you're dealing with buying more computers and the changes that you're making here, does any of that add value to the library itself? I mean, as far as, are you getting any dollars from people for this stuff, or is it just a constant drain on the town all the time?
Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it. The computers are a must, and I'll tell you why, and that's because, what happens is, right now, our computers are locked into Yellowhead. I'm not sure if you understand how the library works, but we're locked into, we have a, the town.
They're
has
the
an
central.
agreement. Yeah, so they're like our central, facility. So, what happens is, as of October of this coming year, Microsoft is not honoring or going to be doing any more upgrades, or basically our computer's going to be obsolete, and YRL will not work with them because they can't protect them from the viruses. And right now, YRL pays for the virus protection. We don't. We've got a really good deal with that, so we're going to keep that, and that's why those computers have to be replaced. Having said that, do we charge for people to use the computer? Yes, because you have to be, well, that's not really true.
As a
It's free.
member? or
No,
whatever?
well, see, if your membership works this way, membership, the only time you pay for your membership is if you're going to take a library book or item out. You can use the library, and this is part of the Library Act. You do not have to have a membership to go into the library and use the resources in the library. That's part of the Library Act. So we don't charge for that. Now, do we charge for printing? We ask for a donation, that type of thing. So we do get a little bit of revenue, but it's not, to be totally honest with you, it's not a lot of money, the revenue that we collect, even with the membership, you know, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to make your membership so high that you're putting barriers in front of families that can't afford it. Right now, in particular, as we
Right.
know with groceries and stuff, we don't want to make it so that they can't come to the library and use stuff because we've made their membership so high they can't afford it, which is kind of a bad thing. That's kind of what we're neglecting to do, yeah.
My
Anyway,
only question about all this
Yes.
is, all the groups that come to council here, with the taxes the way they are in this town,
Mhm.
and what people get for them and everything, they're sky high compared to other communities. And,
well, I
you
think,
wanna make sure
yeah,
that
you're getting a value for your dollar.
value for the dollar, other than people that come up and, for an instance, communities in Bloom.
Mhm.
That's something that this town can't afford, and it really doesn't make it anywhere near what Kalmar does with theirs or anything else.
Kalmar also gives something like 30,000.
Yeah,
And staff. Yeah, they invest a lot into
And
theirs,
I know
yeah.
that because I run the Kalmar Library, so I know what they're giving for their
No,
community.
sure.
Closer to 80.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
just in comparison, though,
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
for where we are right now, is
Yeah.
that
yeah, you guys are
our
kind of,
previous council,
you're calling yourself out of the hole right now, is what you're doing, yeah.
that's right, and
Yeah.
can't do that if we keep adding to things, but I'm not against what
The
the library
library.
is doing
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that,
or
thank you.
anything like that. I just wanted to,
Yeah,
it was just a question,
Yeah.
to see if you get any more value out of it by having these things. And
well,
they're
without,
not just nice to have.
no,
they're
no,
something
there's
that you need.
necessities in here, there's
Yeah.
no doubt about it. The other, maybe I'll ask council this, has YRL ever come here and given you a value presentation?
I feel like.
They've given us their report and what the value of what they
Like
think
what,
it is.
what per dollar
Yeah,
value
they
you're
have.
getting compared to what you're paying into it? You
Yeah,
can
they
have
have.
that, okay.
They have.
Last couple of years ago, because that's something that's actually quite interesting. And I can get that if you're interested, I can get that documentation, so you can actually see how much Thorsby puts into the membership and what they're getting out of it. I do know from experience, because they look after all the computers, that type of stuff, it's a pretty good arrangement. And,
Yeah, but like you say, it's for people that can't afford to
more than anything, you know, let's
have
not,
their own and that.
Yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
that. There's a value in that as well.
and we've
so.
definitely seen an increase lately in the amount of people that are taking out DVDs and stuff, because the money isn't stretching as far, so they're letting their streaming system go, that type of thing. So we're seeing an increase in that. We're seeing an increase in people coming in because they can't even afford the ink on their printers, so they're coming into the library to do it, so.
Or internet.
Or internet.
Or even
exactly.
computers.
Yeah, that's kind of the niche we're
That's
here
where
to
you're
hold.
filling, yeah.
That's what we're here to hold, to fill, yeah.
And thanks for that comment, and that's the whole purpose of this whole thing, is that's why we're having this here, is to make sure the value is there, and we're not just handing out money just to hand out money. I know I can say there's been a lot of interest in this. I've had several calls from residents. Most of them just want to know why we weren't giving the money, and
Oh, darn it, eh?
yeah. And once I
Money
find
we
this,
paid them help. You wonder where one of that miscellaneous numbers.
as I said, we didn't say we weren't giving the money, we just wanted more information to justify it, and that was the whole thing. And when it comes to April 22nd, when we look at the budget and everything, we'll make the decision then, and you've helped us make that decision, so.
Okay, excellent. If there's anything else you need from us, please don't. Cindy, don't, you know my email now. Don't hesitate.
I had meant, and I totally forgot to supply just the ins, the outs, what gets, people through the door. I was gonna include it with my report, and I forgot to do that, just because I thought it's kind of
Yeah, cool.
for everyone to see,
Yeah.
how much it is taken for, right?
No, it's all very good. Any other questions from anybody else? Once again, thank you, and thank you for all the ladies coming. So, get a motion to, accept this go ahead.
I can make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? It's carried. And, you'll hear it back from us after our meeting on the 22nd.
Thank you. Yeah, no. Yeah, I know we could. Let's come to the 26th?
22nd. 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm available.
Thank you.
Hey, Cindy, do you want to present your budget stuff so that you go through it at your pace, or?
Yeah, I'm just going to present the changes and then we can discuss it. I'm not going to go through everything.
Okay, so, that's done with the library. And, spring budget adjustments. Cindy, you're very popular today. Would you like to talk about that again?
Yeah. So it's time for spring budget adjustments. So in my RFD, I highlighted all the changes from the original budget that we approved in December. So overall, the assessment increase, which was mainly residential, went up 2.35%. And then along with the requisition increases from education and the Seniors Foundation, revenue increased by 89.9, so almost $90,000. Additional expenses in public works of $70,000 were added for water main break paving. So all the water main breaks we have to pave where we dug up. And then there is a sinkhole on 49th Avenue. So we've estimated that $70,000. Unfortunately, the weather did not cooperate with us, and we couldn't get the engineers out to look at the sinkhole because of the snow that fell a couple weeks ago. So we're still waiting for those actual estimates, which we will have by the 22nd. So increase in bulk water station funding of 105. We had to reroute the drainage to the storm sewer capabilities to reduce spillage and ice on site. That, however, is grant funded and revenue generating and will not affect the overall tax increase. An increase of $18,000 library funding as per their request. An increase in county funding of $11,160 due to the increase in library funding. An addition of $10,000 for installing the electronic sign, including power and internet. I decreased software $10,000 as the meter installs are taking longer than anticipated, so we will not be moving to e-billing this year. An increase of $10,004 for the seniors requisition and an increase of $15,700 for education. And then an increase of $5,000 in public works for internet at the bulk water station South Reservoir. So with those changes, the current tax percentage increase is proposed at 3.26%. I did identify two things that could possibly be taken out of the budget to help with that increase. The installation of the electronic sign would be a savings of $10,000. And then the deferral of the chemical skid in the capital budget, as that was being funded by operations, to 2026, which would be a savings of $13,275. So eliminating A would bring the tax increase to 2.66%. Eliminating B would bring the tax increase to 2.46%. And eliminating both would bring the tax increase to 1.86%. That's just the tax. That doesn't include the requisite, like the assessment increases and all the other increases that the government put on us. So, administration would also like to point out that only $20,000 a year is being transferred to reserves, and that was just last year and this year, which is not adequate to fund future infrastructure needs, with government funding being erratic due to their perceived deficit. A serious consideration and a discussion must be held, as funding reserves is paramount to the future of the municipality. The last few years have seen many critical infrastructure components that had to be repaired, replaced, and upgraded. Due to this, we have depleted the existing grant money and therefore will have to rely heavily on debentures and reserves for future improvements and emergencies. So administration recommends a robust discussion regarding the budget to determine best course of action and to provide direction through resolution to administration regarding the proposals listed to begin preparation of the 2025 tax bylaw.
All right. Thank you. Just a question, and Donna, maybe for this, would we have enough time at the meeting, to the regular meeting, discuss all that budget here, or is this something, I thought we were maybe talking about having a special meeting for that or not?
Your worship, we can structure the regular, to accommodate, budget discussion, because it's an important date. So, the legislative clerk and I will take a look and see what we can defer. It'll be, if we can, anything we put extra on the council package,
Okay.
Anything we put on the council package for the regular, we'll determine a priority, a crisis priority.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Sorry. I would like to have, if we could have a big discussion, like tonight, maybe even, because I have to have the tax bylaw prepared for next, for the regular. And so I can have it prepared, and then if it changes, I can change it on the fly, but it's not super simple. But just like to discuss these few things that have changed since the last one, because it's, and then you don't have to pass anything, but if we have the discussion tonight, then we're more prepared for the regular meeting at the end of the month, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And I just want, just during discussions, to just point out and keep a reminder of, we have a public hearing scheduled ahead of the regular at 7 o'clock. Shouldn't take long. No comments so far, but just as you guys are discussing, just to keep that in mind. get the public hearing ahead of it.
Probably for the first 10 minutes, I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, no, I get it. Well, yeah, go ahead, Tracy.
The only thing that jumps out at me, hearing Cindy read all that, and I had read that previously, is about the electronic sign.
Yeah.
And it might sound outrageous, but because you're putting internet over at the South Reservoir, could we move the electronic sign to the south end and tag both of them?
I think that would cost more than $10,000.
Well, I think,
Well, we, to answer, your worship, through the council.
Yeah, the electric and
I'd have to
internet.
get new permits and transportation.
It's a huge process,
let's go back to Alberta Transportation, and, it took, what, how long did it take for the last,
3 or 4 months, 5 months,
yeah, just to get the approval?
yeah.
Yeah, I know, that's why I thought, this will sound outrageous,
No.
but if we could connect the internet and the power to the sign and the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
and then
whatever.
also Tracy, Counselor Tracy, the installation was included in the quote. So if we were to move that sign, we'd have to re-pour like the concrete, the fittings, like everything to move that sign. So it would be well over $10,000, I'm thinking, to move it, just to move it, never mind.
Yeah, we have to put Starlink on the sign, right, because we can't put any other internet there. And of course, because we're a municipality, we can't get a residential package. So the commercial package is about $3,000 just to get the package. And then I don't think, Mr. Bassick's quote from the last time is gonna be outrageous, but will be easily $5,000, because he's either got to trench electricity. Now, the pole is close, the transformer is close, but we're either gonna have to trench it. I don't think that Fortis will allow us to go overhead and connect that way. It'll have to come underneath and connect up, just to prevent vandalism, or because how we hook it, and then we have to operate the sign. I understand your angst, really. I do. My opinion as a CEO is we leave it dark another year.
It'll be dark.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on your votes. That's just my recommendation. Because our South Reservoir internet and that is, and I'm not advocating either one, I'm just explaining. The South Reservoir internet now, once it's in, we'll be able to communicate with the bulk station that's sitting there, especially with the panels and stuff that are going in, and it's able to now communicate with the water treatment plant. And the South Reservoir has fairly big pumps in it that will be engaged to work that bulk station, and so they have to talk to each other. They never have before. I will caveat what I'm saying by saying I don't understand why this has never been done. So that's why. So I'm not advocating for yes or no. I'm in explain mode tonight. That's it.
All right, I appreciate that.
No problem.
So, Cindy, what do you want to do? You want to go through each item here? Or,
Yeah, I think, well, yeah, just from like B to I guess.
The only thing I'm saying, I'm gonna say right now is that, so Councillor Gilbert and Councillor Miller aren't here. So
Yeah.
now I would hope they're gonna be at the next meeting for the adjustment, right? So then we make some discussions here, and then we come back to the meeting on the 22nd, and they're not in the same boat as us, and,
That's when it gets fun, your worship.
I know. But,
I just have to prepare the tax bylaw for passing, right? So
but we certainly won't, the only thing is a few minutes to go through each item if you want to do that.
yeah, I think we should just have a discussion. I mean, they can watch the recording after, and they can always email me, like we can let them know, we can have the discussion via email too. And then when it comes back, we at least know where everybody's sitting. And then once you guys vote,
Okay.
but yeah.
All right. Do you want to start, or you want me to go through it?
Well, yeah, just like be the 70,000 for the water main break paving and the sinkhole, and maybe Donna, you can talk more to that because you know more about it than.
I wish I didn't. So the two breaks that were on the highway, I call it 778, because As we know, we're lobbying, we're going to be through our MLA lobbying the provincial government to pay the, let me get my facts straight here, just for your worship, I should have this ready. January, February, March. Here we go, sorry for the delay here. It cost us an extra $8,264.34 because we have to put the permacrete, in other words, cement, in the holes. We can't fill them with rock, and not the way we usually do it. That's another 28 meters, plus all the after-hour costs, right? So we're lobbying through Mr. Boychenko, MLA Boychenko, to start, if that's their engineering standards, we want a reimbursement. Now, will we get that reimbursement before we go to budget? I mean, I'm not counting on it, but we're starting to squeak about it.
Yeah.
And the other issue is, that's what caused that. And then the big, when we had the sewer main break at the sewer lift station, that costs more because you can't shut the sewer off. So we have to employ 3 back trucks. Anytime we're doing any sewer work regarding a lift station, we have to deal with back trucks. And so we were fortunate to get 2 back trucks and a turbo back, so that they could be running back and forth, and that turbo back could be sucking and transfer. And that's the problem, because you can't tell people to stop doing what they do. So that one costs more. And the other reason it costs more too is the lift station pumps in the sewer lift station. One is rebuilt, one is original. We have the new ones ready to go. We couldn't install the new ones until we figured out what was causing the one not to work. We had a blockage of some sort. So, and they wouldn't prime. We were 3.5, 4 hours trying to get them primed so they'd start again that night, which was bad. We found out using the turbo back truck is whatever was in there, when that thing lit up, whatever was blocking is long gone. So I actually offered to go down to the lagoons and watch it come out the other end to see what the heck it was, because we didn't know what it was. We still don't know. So at least we got that good. So the new pumps will prime properly. So that's why that one was so desperately expensive. Anytime we got sewer, it's almost going to be double water. And the break was in the exact same spot that was fixed 7 years ago. So that's why that one's expensive.
So I guess we can give Boychenko a call and remind him to see if he's done anything, because he's had some time for it already, but.
He's had some time. I just have to finish the last text, and I've been kind of busy with the other matters that are coming tomorrow. So once that happens, I've got time to finish off what I need to do for him. And the other thing we want to do is, that we didn't put in here, is we want to lobby him as well to have to take over the road, like from 770, from the time you come into Thorsby, north to south, so that we're not spending a ton of money chipping ice and cleaning out drains from when the contractor comes through and just deposits all the ice and snow all over our sidewalks and everything, right? They just plow right through. So we're going to work on that too. And by meaning lease, it means a lease payback from the province. They pay the contractor. We want to take over that section at a rate that we negotiate. So we're working on that too.
All right, so,
And then the Mr. Mayor, the sinkhole down on 47th.
Yeah, 49th is, just trying to think of the right dates here. Probably about, let me see, this is 5 or 6 years ago, roughly. The town decided that it would be cheaper to fix these breaks and so forth themselves, because it was cheaper. And of course, Public Works, typically unless you're Edmonton, Calgary, they're not certified to do that sort of stuff. So when this collapsed at that time, I think it was 6 years ago, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, they fixed it. And of course, I looked up the bill, and they had to rent everything, of course, and all the overtime and that. It was a $20,000 fix. The problem was it's sinking, and we don't know how well it was fixed because they weren't qualified. And I don't mean that negatively, just weren't. I don't think they packed it properly. So when you stand on a piece of it and there's water by the curb and gutter system. The curb and gutter rises and the water bubbles. So we know. Our engineer's coming out to determine if it is emergent. If it is not emergent, then we'll watch it, which is good. But it's a huge pass. They ripped up half the street to fix whatever that break was, which is ridiculous. So that's what's going on. So once I hear from our engineers at Select, I'll be able to give you a more robust thought about it. But it's spongy, but I want an engineering report on how spongy can it go before we have to deal with it. And some of the curb and gutter, they wrecked as well. And it just happens to be in that little cul-de-sac where it pools. The fix that we put in when some of it was sunk 2 years ago is still holding, that we put in, but this is bigger. And if you ever want to look on the street, if you ever drive up that way, it's just on the other side of the cemetery there. You can see how much street they ripped up to do whatever it was they were doing. And our current contractors don't take nearly that big a patch unless they're installing a service. So I will have that before the 26th.
Yeah, so we'll have some more information.
Yes, you will. Yeah.
And just one thing, Cindy, maybe you could explore on here is the possibility of a debenture for this here.
The 70,000?
Well, no, it's gonna be more than that when you look at 49th Avenue and stuff, right?
Well, no, Donna didn't think so, but once we get the numbers, we'll look at it. But I don't know that it's that big of a.
Well, maybe I'm getting this mixed up. I thought that we were going to cost us some money over there for that whole street over there.
Oh no, this is just to fix that sinkhole, which there's no like underneath that needs to be fixed. It's just that the pavement is sinking.
All right. Well, I guess it's not.
No.
Sort of good news. Okay.
It's kind of good news.
All right.
If we can hold on to it for another year or two, it's good news.
Okay. All right. Enough on that one then. Okay. So then going to the bulk water station for the $105,000, and that's through the MSI. Have we got any money left in there to cover that up?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
if you look at the capital portion of the budget, it's I added it in there, and we're good.
We're good. So that's just an in and out thing.
Right.
Okay.
We're just advising on that one.
Okay. Excellent. Going to the library, D, we've discussed that, so we'll just have to make our decision on that. That's pretty straightforward. You've got all the information on that now. And then E, increase of county funding, 11,116. 160. Is anything we can do about that?
Well, no, we get more. That's an increase because if we up the library 18,000, the county covers 11,000 of that.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay.
Because of our agreement with them, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're only paying just under 7,000 actually.
Yeah, which is what I said in my library RFD. I said the only increase to the town would be $6,840.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, the sign, we already talked about that, so it's just up to us to make a decision, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And the decrease of software's meter taking longer anticipated, so no e-billing.
Yeah, that
You want
one's
to
fine.
explain? Okay.
Well, we're just not going to do e-billing, so there won't be that cost of that module to purchase. So I just took 10,000 out of the budget, so that's just kind of informing you that I did that. So.
Gotcha. And then H is the seniors requisition education. I mean, we're just collecting the money for the government on that.
Yeah,
There's
nothing we can do.
Nothing we can do there. Okay, and then the $5,000 for public works for the internet. That would be under the MSI, right?
No, that's just regular because that's just the monthly charge for internet and the installation of it. So.
Okay. All right. What else in there? Anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's everything. If nobody has any, just the chemical skid too. If like I talked to Dave and he said if of his capital items, that's the one he could defer for a year.
Okay.
So I can take that out and then we just have to, I think maybe at the budget talk about reserves because $20,000 a year isn't gonna help really.
What number do you think would be better?
Oh, probably 100, but we can't afford that right now, so.
Is there an in-between that's,
I mean, you
Well,
saw
it
all.
depends how much you guys want taxes to increase, right? Like, I mean, I can play with the numbers. And then what we cut out or what we agree to or don't agree to, like if you make the sign go black for another year and take out the chemical skid and then you say, okay, we want a 2.75% increase, I can figure out what that is to put into reserves.
yeah,
But I mean, a 1% increase is about $17,000. So you're gonna add another 17,000 if you cut both of those items out that I suggested and add 17,000 to reserves. You're gonna come out at a 2.86-ish property tax increase.
All right, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. There's not much in there that we can do at the moment. Anybody have any other discussion? Okay, so motion to turn to the spring budget for April 22nd for the regular meeting. Motion to pass the motion to the budget.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? That's carried. Okay.
Really quickly, sorry, I think Cindy's also requesting a motion to provide direction through resolution to administration regarding the proposals listed to begin preparation of the 2025 tax budget. Or, sorry, bylaw, not budget, for the RSD.
Oh, the bylaw. Okay, yes,
So
exactly.
motion direction.
Okay, somebody want to make that motion for the tax bylaw?
I can make that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Yeah, we have to make that every year. You are correct. Thank you for that. Okay, wow. 5.4, Leduc County request for support. Sarah, Dawn, you want to talk about that?
But I'd be happy to turn it over to, our recreation manager,
Okay,
Kelly.
absolutely.
Kelly, the floor is yours.
So that's good.
Good evening. So this is just a simple request. So, as we're talking about doing facility upgrades at the recreation complex and going for grants, we obviously want to bring the Duke County in the loop and have their support. So I've been meeting with Dean Honesty, the Director of Community Services from the county, and he has requested that we formally submit a letter to their council seeking partnership on the project and maybe some additional funding if available from the county. So that's what, basically, I'm just looking for a direction from council to go ahead with the letter. I've given you guys a copy,
Yeah.
of the proposed letter. So, I mean, if there's edits, changes, anything you'd like to see adjusted, by all means, let me know. If not, then we would just be looking for the mayor to sign off, and then we can submit it to the County Council electronically or through Dean electronically. He said it's fine. But
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that?
So, Kelly, on that first phase of the project where the estimate is about 2.5 million, that 1 million, if we still were doing the 60-40 split, the million would be, we would hope to find grant funding for our $1 million piece of that?
yeah, well, so how it works with our cost share is whatever we receive in grants goes towards the total project, and then the remaining balance is split 60-40 between the county and us. So that's why we're looking for maybe some additional support from the county to offset that 60-40 split. So Dean's working on some different ideas. But basically, it's just to get our project into the queue of the county, right? Because Warburg received last year. I am pretty sure they're going to try again next year. So that will be their third, right? So we need to...
Yeah, it's about time we got some.
Yeah. And I mean, the overall, we're looking at different grant options right now, and like the overall project is truly it's $4 to $5 million. 2.5 is just doing the roof and the exterior insulation. So if we can stack some grants, if we can secure some additional funding, you know, that would be my dream, that we tackle it as one project, one phase. But yeah,
We're gonna rip it apart, let's rip it apart as much as we can, right?
Yeah. So this is just,
Yeah, just to
you know,
start the ball.
yeah, we can't really go for a grant that Ladue County is going to cost share on without inviting them to the discussion first, right?
Gotcha.
So it's just more protocol and looping them into what we're doing. Dean might take, we've had 2 Class D costing sent, so Dean might take one of them or both of them, or just like a summary of it to give them more information as needed, but.
Okay.
The
So,
letter looks really good.
somebody would like to take a motion to direct administration to draft and send a letter to Ladue County seeking their partnership on the facility upgrades, and we already have the draft letter.
I will make that motion.
All right, all in favor? Carried.
And if you're happy with the letter, then
Yeah,
your
it looks
autograph would
fine.
be appreciated too.
Well, unless, yeah,
I just have a little procedural note I have to talk to Kelly, so if you can sign it, not tonight, your worship. Not the minutes, so.
I'll be around tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Well, you tried.
That's it, project one.
Okay, thank you, guys, Kelly, for that. Okay, 5.5, the new land use bylaw timeliness. And, Donna, you wanna go through that, or that, Jesse, you wanna go through that, whoever's,
No, I can, thank you, your worship. So Liz and I have been working on our new land use bylaw, and it is ready for this procedure. Sorry. So as work progresses on the new land use bylaw, we have a proposed timeline for both council and administration. When you're redoing a land use bylaw, unfortunately, we have to have a council workshop with the planner. We have to sit and go through it. That's what we have to do. So, land use bylaw workshop to discuss and go over highlights. Date for this workshop is proposed as a special meeting. There have to be special meetings. And folks, anybody can come in and listen. May 1st from 5 to 8 p.m. Then the open house will be advertised and held on May 22nd from 5 to 7. And Liz and I look after that. You don't have to, you can pop in if you like. But it's for the public, and we'll have it right in the front part of town office here. The bylaw then comes to council for first reading during the June 21st, 2025 regular meeting, and then second and third come to the July 22 regular meeting, and then it's signed and enacted at that meeting. So we will have a new land use bylaw, which I went over it with Liz, and this is why the workshop, so you know what we've changed from the old one to the new one. One of the big changes is to give the planning officer more variance, what's the word I'm looking for, authority. Right now, she only has about 5% to 7. And typically, if a planner has more variance in some of the development permits that come in, and by variance, it means you still stick to the rules, but she can make a decision differently unless it's a direct control district. And we're very low here. And also, the last land use bylaw was built in 2016, and things have changed, for sure. And so a lot of those updates. So that's why we want to do the workshop with you before you vote, and it gives you time to talk about it, to think it through. And we really need to get this done before the election. So those are our proposed timelines. We definitely don't need a motion, but accept it as a calendar event.
okay, so how does the May 1st work for everybody? Is that the Thursday,
Yeah, I work.
5 to 8?
Liz can't get here any other day. She's got to come in person. She's only come Thursdays.
Go ahead.
Also, sorry, just keeping with discussions as well, just a reminder to council, the further back we push it, council had already made a directive to not do major decisions before the election, and so that will span August and September. So July is the last regular meeting that you guys will be able to make a decision on this as a council.
How about a Saturday or something? Does the Saturday work instead?
It's harder for her to get here.
It's what?
It's too hard for
Hard
her
to get Liz here?
Yeah, we're working off Liz's schedule.
Gotcha. How about you, Tracy?
I can make it.
Now, it'll be on tape too, Shelley, as well, right? So that's understandable. Like, I don't, then you can just watch the tape, and then if you've got a list of questions, then you and Liz and I can chat on the phone. That's not a problem, so I don't want you to feel disappointed.
Okay, well, let's just, we just, like you said, we don't need a motion for it right now.
No, we don't need
I would think about that, and if another, you know.
you don't need a motion, but we will, this is for information, but we will need no, actually, how am I gonna do this? No, we're not, we're asking for
Direction.
direction to make this happen. Yeah, what we want is a council directive to administration to make this happen and start the process.
Yeah, is there a date that works for you?
The next Thursday would work for me.
Liz, this is her only date?
This is Liz's schedule, well, because she works in Chestermere a lot too, right?
Yeah.
So, and then she has Rimby to look after us, Jeff.
Okay. And then the reason she shows it May 22nd is we need 2 weeks to,
Advertise.
Yeah, let's keep that nice.
Yeah, it's a complicated bylaw, I agree, thanks for that, Jeff, it's a complicated bylaw, but, we can, Councilor Shelley, we can.
Well, I think maybe what we should do then is that you need direction, and that's the only day it works. Maybe you contact Corey and John and see if they can make it, and we can go with the 4 then, and if you can't make it, that's just the way we'd have to do it.
What we could do, Jeff, is maybe send Councilor Corey and Councilor Jonathan this RFD page and indicate that these are the dates.
Yeah.
Our planner is locked in, because of a council workshop, you have to have your planner there.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, and I understand, it's tough, I get it, really, truly.
Well, and tape and recordings are not the best.
They're not the best.
Because it's hard to hear.
We're looking for a new microphone, if that helps. Right,
By
Cindy?
May 1st?
No, we're looking for a new microphone, we're gonna get on it, because this thing is mainly for phones, right? So anyways.
Okay, so I guess I need a motion to direct administration to contact Councilors Miller and Gilbert and see if it works, and then we'll go from there.
I will make that motion.
All in favor? Carried. Okay. All right, moving right along, we're gonna get into the council reports. First of all, 7.1 would be my report. So in March, we had a supper meeting with Bodachenko, as Donna mentioned earlier, and we discussed the water breaks on 52nd and our aging infrastructure and anything they can do for us, and we're waiting word back from him if they can pay for the additional costs on there. Everybody else was at the meeting there, so that was kind of the highlights on there with that meeting. March the 6th, I attended Councilor Gilbert and myself, the elected officials at the Westin. Minister McIver gave a little talk about housing and also the government's 5.5 deficit. It's saying that we're not going to get as much money, all our stuff's cut back, our MSI's cut back, and I don't know what we can do about it for sure. I was kind of disappointed in the whole meeting because the Premier was supposed to be there, and she showed up. She canceled the day before, and I believe they had some issues with Alberta Healthcare, and that's why she had to cancel for that one. We all know what's going on there. And so they didn't show up, and there was supposed to be something about water, and they canceled that, and they talked about the tariffs instead. That was right after Trump discussed that, and they had about 3 experts there, and basically the only advice they could give everybody in the municipalities is to do nothing. There's nothing, don't give in to him, don't listen to what Trump is saying. He's just trying to get a response from everybody, and until they actually come in play, for a municipality, our best is just to sit back and wait and do nothing. And if somebody asks us about it in the residents, that's exactly what we have to tell them.
Well, because no one knows what he's gonna do, so how can you make a plan when you don't know what he's gonna do?
It's not that the AMA and everybody's not, looking into it, but until these things come in and that, and unknown, we have to sit back and just wait and see.
Can I just back that up? Is that meeting public with the lab planner?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All special meetings, yeah, they're public, yeah.
I'll just lock you up.
Okay, so, talked about that, and then talked about the, election come up. There's a lot of videos available for candidates and stuff like that. lots of stuff, and I'm sure Jesse will be knowing about that. They took the poll, there was probably, I'm gonna guess there was about 600, counselors and mayors and everything there, and it was quite interesting that I would say probably 90% of them said they were gonna run again. They're different across the province. Quite interesting. I thought that a lot of them after a 4-year term, they'd say no, but everybody said they were going to. And, yeah, that was about it for that. We had our cow meeting on the 11th. We had a regular meeting on the 25th. On the 26th of, we had a water meeting, and I guess I can't say a whole much about that, Donna. Can you say anything? Are you going to say anything in your report about maybe an announcement or anything like that? Can you say anything like that?
We can officially indicate that there'll be a press release coming out Wednesday.
Okay.
I will make the announcement on social media when it
Tomorrow?
comes. That would be tomorrow. If you don't hear from me tomorrow, you know there's a bit of a delay. So we will let you know, but I'll put it on the Thorsby page. There'll be links to the press release. All council will get their press release in their email.
Okay, so we can say that, and it's pretty exciting, that's all.
Yeah, it's not a bad press release, by the way.
Yeah, so it's,
Before 7.
In the morning?
but,
That's your bedtime, right?
waiting for something like this for a long time, and we've had a very lengthy meeting there, and, we came up and, I wish I could tell you some more things about it, but it was positive, very exciting, and you'll know most about it tomorrow, and lots of information will come out with it, so.
After Wednesday, you can tell people stuff.
And that's it for my report. Any questions on that? Councilor Gilbert, and Miller, will have one, Councilor Musson.
And this is a little lengthy, so I'll try to make it quick. March 4th, I was Commissioner of Oaths. March 4th was also a library meeting. The board reviewed and passed the reserve policy. Susan and board are working diligently to fulfill town's requirements for the budget. Amendment considerations, LEAP training has been completed. Library shall transition to the program by fall. A new circulation computer has been installed. Programs are ongoing. Escape room was a huge success with 80 participants. Partnerships with Arctic Spas Complex, FCSS, and FRN are occurring. Example, the summer programs. Our library has been awarded $2,700 for skill development in rural Alberta. It's English as a second language program. 2024 annual report has been prepared for YRL. March 5th, I attended the dinner with MLA Boychenko. March 6th, Commissioner of Oaths. March 6th, I was bingo paymaster. March 8th, I judged 4-H regional level speeches and presentations at Westlock. March 10th, the Chamber of Commerce meeting. Thor will be announced with 2 highway tourism signs on Highway 778 coming soon. The gala was a great event, and businesses look forward to the 2025 gala. Memberships are ongoing. May long weekend will see the annual ball tournament. Festivus of Gravel is happening June 6th to 8th. The Festivus group would like to start the race on Main Street with Thor. The Chamber plan is now an online platform. Any member who signs up through the referral program with Avalon in March and April will receive a $200 statement credit. Members are encouraged to ask for information as needed, as all communications is done by volunteers. The town is encouraged to also ask the council rep if they have any questions or need information, and I will relay it. Regarding communication or lack of communication from the chamber to the town, most of the communication regarding Christmas in the village was between the chamber board and council and administration. There was no intentional negative public messaging against the town. Only 2 public articles were published, one on September 27th, 2024, which did not mention the town of Thorsby. In the article from November 8th, it was said, "We hope in the future the town will reignite the event with a new ... okay, was not referencing the town of Thorsby, but it was referencing the town community. Issues with bookkeeping financials have not been relayed correctly to council, but steps were already being taken to correct things. The chamber knew there was discrepancies even before the town asked for more details on the financials, hence the frustration. When the town requested financials and were not satisfied with what was sent, the chamber hoped it would get resolved between the volunteer treasurer and the town. When this didn't happen, the financials for the last 3 years were redone by Shauna Osti in January using cash accounting and balancing to the bank statements instead of accrual accounting. The books were reviewed by Morgan Johnson. The chamber feels it's unfortunate that the town no longer wants to be a member. The board will not be stepping down. The chamber board assumed that the Thorsby Town Council representative that had agendas and attended meetings was the transparent, consistent communication. All other members seem to be satisfied with communication. March 12th, I was a Commissioner of Oaths, and I was twice that day Commissioner of Oaths. March 14th, I attended the pizza party at the complex. March 24th, Commissioner of Oaths again. March 27th, I was bingo paymaster. And March 31st, I did Commissioner of Oaths again. That is my report.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tracy, question on that chamber last point there, or the second last point. I don't know if it's because of the Library Act, I know some of these groups have to have actual bookkeepers reviewing, but the chamber isn't one of those that has to do that. They can get whoever they want to review.
I am clueless on that.
Okay.
I can find out the answer.
Cindy, do you know who does the chamber just get anybody on their board to be able to review? It doesn't have to be a bookkeeper?
It should be a third party, somebody that's not connected to the organization for sure. And it depends, I think, Donna, if what their bylaws say. I mean, the Leduc Chamber has to have an audit, like a full-blown audit. I don't know what smaller chambers have to have, but the other community groups, that's their agreement with us that they have to have a bookkeeper because we give them funding.
Okay.
So, but as far as the chamber, I don't know if their bylaws would state what they have to do, but.
Yeah, we have to review them, and the chamber, I know, set themselves up as a nonprofit, but in all honesty, they're a trade association. They're supposed to be a trade association. They're not a society. And so, eventually that's probably gonna have to be fixed. Your worship, if I may, clarification, I can't let this one go to support Councillor Tracy. The bullet that the chamber feels it's unfortunate that the town no longer wants to be a member. The board will not be stepping down, that's fine. The chamber board assumed that the Thorsby Town Council representative had the agendas and attended the meetings with transparent, consistent communication. That may have been their assumption, but that is not Councillor Tracy's role. Councillor Tracy's role is a liaison between the businesses and council. And let me think about my words here. And to publish this type of language, not you, Councillor Tracy, but to inflict, I'll say it that way, to inflict that kind of responsibility, that was not your role through the organizational meeting.
And I've really tried hard to explain that to them, to get them to understand that was not my duty.
No.
My duty was this way, not this way.
Yeah.
They didn't seem to grasp it. I offered that I could offer more information that would help to clarify things into my report, and so I had help with writing my report. And my understanding as it is right now with Christmas in the Village is that the chamber will not be spearheading it this year. If there is somebody that wants to help to get it going and take it on, it can still happen. It's not necessarily a done deal, but I sure hope. There were people that stepped forward after it didn't happen last December that said they would like to help make sure it happened this year. So I'm hopeful that it will still happen.
Yeah, typically, as a former chamber member, or chamber president, Leduc Quatasco, and any council was there to relay the information, they weren't to do stuff. It is the chamber's executive manager, leader, whomever, to do the communication.
Yeah, whether it's informing the restaurant who's a member or the town who's a member.
Exactly.
They should be distributing the information equally.
So I appreciate your report. As an administrator, I object to the position they have put you in with this communication. So
And I understand the conflict there too. I see it, and I'm glad you understand that.
I do. And as far as the Christmas in the Village, I will say this in open council, it is a chamber event. It is a celebration of the chamber with their businesses. In Leduc, we never did that, but we had the gala every year where we celebrated it with an awards banquet and so forth to celebrate the businesses. This is a chamber function, and if somebody else wants to take it on, that's fine, but I will say from town administration is that it's not that we don't want to help, but it is a chamber function. And so I appreciate the particularly difficult role that their assistance with your communication put you in. So I just want to make those two comments public.
I have a question, actually, maybe Kelly, you can answer this one. The Festivus of the Gravel, is that something that you're organizing?
I'm helping, I'm assisting them. So that's the gravel cycling event that came in last year, and they launched from the recreation complex and finished at the recreation complex last year.
Yeah.
This year they want to just launch on Main Street.
Okay.
It's a Saturday, it's at like 7 a.m. is like the start time, so it should not be disruptive to the community. And then they're going to finish the race again at the complex.
Okay, you're coordinated with them.
Yeah, I'm dealing directly with the organizer of that event directly about, like using Main Street and at the Taylor Park,
We've used positive negotiation tactics, Kelly has brilliantly, because there was a comment that to the Festivus organizers that the town administration is hard to work with.
Yes.
So we have.
There's a few statements that should just be left alone.
I know.
It's kind of what I was asking. Okay.
Yeah, we've mitigated that into a very positive.
All right, well, thanks for the clarification. Yes.
I have a question, if it's okay, Councillor Munson. Did they indicate where on 778 those two signs are going up? Like, I assume on either end for the most visibility, but.
Not exactly where. I briefed over the agenda. There's a chamber meeting right now that I'm not at because I'm here. And I did brief over their agenda, and I did kind of notice, one to the north, one to the south, but no, I don't have the specifics at this moment.
Tourism Alberta liaises with transportation, and they have to put them, I think there's certain lengths where they can put them, they can't just stack them anywhere. So Tourism Alberta will probably give them the guidance on that, I think.
Because they know they're not supposed to just do whatever they want to do.
No, it's all,
Okay.
it's all being mandated.
Just checking.
Is there a permit required for those?
Yes.
Yes, and that if Tourism Alberta allowed that to happen, I am assuming, because it's really not my concern, that they would have advised the chamber to apply through the transportation MF service for the permit. If they didn't, that's between Alberta Tourism and the chamber.
Yeah, no, it's all being done properly.
It's not liable in any way if the chambers just decides to do whatever they
That
want.
is correct, because we're we're a compatible entity with each other as far as community work, but we are a non-integrated entity.
All right, any other questions on that rather long report?
I tried to make it brief. It was brief.
It was till we started asking the question.
All right, Councilor Rosh, go ahead.
All right, I will let Jesse put it up for me. Thank you. So, as you both stated, on March 5th, we met with MLA Bochenko to discuss some needs, wants that we wanted regarding roads and such. Then on March 11th, we had our COW. March 25th, we had our regular I'm gonna tell you about our April 1st library board meeting, just in that we always meet the first Tuesday of the month, and waiting over a month to report to me seems silly. So we had our meeting last week, and we are happy to say that the Community in Bloom Library Seed Exchange is now in operation. So that is going on in the library right now. If you want to get some seeds or donate some seeds, that's an awesome program. There is a book sale going on April 10th to the 12th in the recreation complex. That's to coincide with is it a garage sale? A garage sale that's going on at the complex. Is it strictly lost and found items?
Nope,
Okay.
there's stuff from the facility, like that we've been cleaning out our cupboards and
Oh,
stuff.
right, okay, excellent. There is an early childhood resource fair, April 7th from 10 to 12. Is that in the RFN?
Yesterday. No, it's the whole facility.
Okay.
Product Spas and FRN.
Okay. We started discussing a plan for the May long weekend parade, which we should have actually discussed because that's coming up really soon.
We talked about it in our Donna's report.
Okay, just in that we're going to need some money for candy and stuff like that. Because I meant to email you guys and I totally forgot. And then the ATB and the library are planning to host a children's mortgage info session, which I think is really
Not children's.
Yeah.
Children's.
Children. They're having the elementary school kids, which I laughed because I said they should have it for adults.
No, it's for.
No, it's for kids.
Okay.
100% it's for kids. You got to start them young. It's for
8-year-olds?
Yes. Fact. I'll email and double check. It's for kids. You think I just make stuff up? Because I laughed and made a joke like they should do it for the adults. But.
No barbecues by the time they get older.
So I'm going to email to confirm, but I'm 100%.
I look forward to hearing clarification.
So do we for the minutes.
I just want to point out, Councillor Musson said, I thought it was for people, and so children
Children are people. She meant adults. No, I believe they're doing it for the kids, but I will confirm with the ATB lady that's doing it. And then I had attended, as I mentioned prior, the March 15th wrestling event that was hosted by the Historical Society. Did you go? It was actually really fun. And Andrew Bochenko was there, as well as he was big into it. He seemed to be enjoying himself quite a bit. So that was my March, which I'm now going to email the library.
I just have one question, Councillor.
Yes.
Were you and Councillor Musson at the same library meeting?
Yes, but I'm doing it this last week, and she was doing last month.
Got it.
Yeah, but I swear to you, it's
I'll
kids.
tell you the correct information in next month.
Correct. My information's correct.
That's your stories, ladies. We'll encourage you to stick with it.
Okay.
That's funny.
Sorry, Your Worship.
All right, anything else, any other questions? Can I get a motion to accept the council reports from April?
Make that
All in
motion.
favor? Carried. All right, go ahead, Donna.
Thank you, Your Worship. So, busy month of March, lots of water stuff, but liaising with the RCMP and CPO regarding matters within the community. We're building a really great relationship with the RCMP and through CPO beyond, so it's good. And of course, I was invited by council to meet with them, with Emily Bochenko regarding issues. So there's just a couple more requests I have to spin up a little bit for him, and then I can send them. He offered me his private text messaging service. Met with an economic development company that requested our regional state-owned alliance, and we will not be expending funds on this matter at this time. Neither is Breton, for that matter. We've expended, I guess it was my decision to see, this town has expended hundreds of thousands of dollars on economic development over the last 10 years. And we know what our demographics are. That's typical. We know how many old folks are here, how many kids, how many middle-aged, education, all that. We have the 2020 demographics. They haven't changed much. And we don't need to pay $1,000 for someone to build us a pamphlet on Thorsby, so we did think it was a good use of town money. Met with 8 students that will be in our municipality in September, and we'll have them out over the summer to tour them of our facilities in preparation for their study of our water treatment plant and rec center with respect to the high energy meter, the high electricity meter that's going there. I will liaise with Alta Link to pick a time for wildfire meeting and discuss what we can do in our municipal partner region, so that is pending. Met quarterly with Leduc Fire, and we're working on the false alarm bylaws. Our stats are high regarding these calls, 20 in the last quarter, which is too high. Every time they go out, it's a pretty big cost to do that. Now, certainly, if the alarm is legit, I mean, they know, they write in their stats if the alarm was because of cooking issues or because of electrical or whatever. But a lot of these alarms they're not set properly, so we got to deal with that. Meetings with the departments on spring workloads, and the spring cleanup will be in June, same as last year with Sunrise Estate Services, so they'll do it the same way. We'll have folks register, put out your valuables on the front lawn that you want us to haul away, and they just go around and haul away to everybody that is registered. They bring their own bins. It's way cheaper for them to bring their bins than it is for us to rent them. They look after packing the bins, taking them away, and they give us an invoice. Last year it was about $5,800, I think, roughly. So, no, not yet. It'll be probably second week of June. It'll be before school is out. So last year I think it was around the 15th or 16th, but we'll double check on that. So it frees up our public works team. It frees up working with bin companies that maybe tell us to close the bins too soon, all those kinds of little things we think we've mitigated. We had a lot of good compliments last year from this opportunity, and so this year I just said to them, organize it yourself, look after it, we'll pick a date, we'll advertise it, we'll stay out of it, and it'll be on a Saturday, so everybody's home. That CAO meeting with the Leduc Housing Foundation, and the CAOs from Kalmar, Warburg, Beaumont, and the city of Leduc were in attendance. Basically, it was a review of the strategic plan and budget for our information. The requisition, we didn't talk about the requisition. Part of the CAO's comments on behalf of Thorsby were the fact that when were they going to deal with Warburg? It is a disaster. It is very sad there. And they just built some kind of water tower to do the sprinkler system. Yeah, it's adjacent to the lodge. Then they built it, and then they realized, oh, they got to heat it. So then they had to put in heating. And by the time they expand one level in that so-called water tower, I don't know how they're going to fill it again, because it's not up to town water yet. I think it's going to be when the contractor is putting it in, he put 5 holes in the main water line there that blew the water line. Just a nasty thing. So when I talked to the Leduc Housing Foundation, I said, I realize what you're doing, but there's been no money put into Warburg, and that's one of our furthest points for our seniors. And their response was, it's not full yet. I said, I wouldn't want to be there right now. I've been in it. I really am. And I'm not happy with it. It's embarrassing, to be quite frank with you. And so I made my concerns respectfully to them, but they're busy doing Plainview and all the streets and all that sort of stuff right now. Part of the problem is there wasn't money saved over the years, and so on and so forth. The Council of Corey and I've had good discussions about it, but I told them I'm still going to advocate for Warburg because it's a rural residence and it's a full service. They still have bathtubs in the rooms. The furniture is 1950s or 60s, 1960s. I don't know when it was built, to be quite frank with you. Old carpet in the hallways. When you turn to go in the rooms, the frames of the doors, there's 2-inch grooves from wheelchair grooves where they missed getting in through the door, and they just dug grooves in. So anyways, I'm going to keep advocating for Port of Warburg because I think we have the place here for seniors that can look after themselves, but we need that place out west here for those who need that extra assistance and help. And so we'll be advocating with Councilor Boychenko. Resident visits for the month of March 15, mostly quick questions or quick visits or issues management discussion. because I do 2 rounds a week around the community, and I have to stop when I'm driving around. They're recognizing the gray truck. So, and then the parade, we, as Jesse indicated, we have the band coming back, we have registrations out, the invitations out, and it'll be like it was last year, the last minute. They will come and sign up. We're just discussing logistics at this time now. There's always money in your budget for candy and all those kinds of things, so you need not worry. I think your budget this year is $15.
Thank you.
Well, we have some money in reserve, right?
One bag.
Yeah, one bag. So, you know, there's money for doing that. This year we'll have the new truck pulling the fire engine. It'll be kind of fun. Everybody gets to see the new truck and the fire engine, and whoever wants to ride on it, it's kind of cool. I'm assuming the mayor and Corey will probably be on it again. So, so we'll do
You guys
that.
were on that last year?
Yeah.
No, we were in the truck together, weren't we?
No, you and Councilor Munson were in the truck.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
we had
was
the mayors, we had, the mayors last year,
Yeah.
Ted Miller.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Now I remember,
Yeah.
now I remember.
Corey came up to Warburg with Mayor.
Right.
Mayor
Get the
Durham.
new Chrysler truck?
Yeah, you did last year, 100%, yeah, yeah,
Oh, right, because someone drove us.
that's right. It was one of the drivers from, no, it wasn't Elizabeth Chrysler, it was Schwab. Yeah, they sent the truck and driver.
Yeah.
And they were very generous, they donated it. And I mean, I can get that for you again if you need to this year.
Just sat in the back.
Yes, you did. You did sit in the back and wave, it was beautiful. So anyways, the parade's well underway, and we'll do more. So, I think, that's it for me, Your Worship.
Okay, go ahead.
Just a couple questions.
Sure.
For Cindy, not you.
Oh, good. Amen.
Cindy, do you remember how much we spent on candy last year?
Like in total, or?
No, just
Um,
specifically for our parade, the Thorsby.
$80, okay.
I think it was about $80 or something.
Okay. And then I have another question for you because all I can think of is her last name. The new FCSS coordinator,
Oh, Brandy?
Brandy, invited council to come to the volunteer appreciation on April 30th. Are there monies that can buy us tickets to attend that? Or
I believe there's money in your budget for that kind of stuff. You guys just have to decide if that's what you want to spend it on.
so we'd bring it up at the next meeting
Just
then.
a regular, just have to have a resolution.
Because I know Tracy and I have other groups we volunteer for that will buy our tickets for us, but I was just,
Yeah, we can bring it up at that.
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
I'll make a note.
and that's it. Yeah.
Okay, community peace officer report, we get that, probably what, quarterly, or we're?
No, you'll probably get it at the, regular.
Okay. Public Works Manager report, just as everybody knows, Andrew has resigned. And, so we can just kind of do it out, so as I see it's from Casey.
It is from Casey, yeah.
So he's done already. He was done like a couple days ago.
Right.
April 7th, yeah.
Okay.
So, you want to go over it there, Tom?
I can, yes. Just a note about Andrew. We didn't want him to go, that's for sure, but he has an opportunity to work his own business, so that's a good thing. We haven't decided, Cindy and I gotta work out some things. We haven't decided if we're gonna replace that position. You never can replace Andrew, but that position. We have some other ideas, to be quite honest with you, that may suit the operational needs, so we'll be bringing those to you to the budget. So this was Casey's first report, Casey and Chris, and for the month of March, 2 heavy snowfall cleanups, and of course we had about 20 inches of snow. Ice removal, road clearance multiple times, storm drain clearing. We're filling potholes. We just ordered hot mix today, I think today or yesterday. And so we've been filling them on 53rd, 50th, and 48th, and 55th. So we get it from the county. They deliver it for us. Been clearing storm lines. Casey and Chris are learning the water treatment plant, and I'm advocating on behalf of Casey right now because he can write his exam, but Alberta government's not cooperating, getting back to us. That's just how they roll. So anyways, I just said to Casey, I'll advocate for you, and maybe a CEO needs to have a little chat with them. And of course, we've been outfitting the new service truck, and Andrew and I took it for a drive last week with the plow on the front, and you couldn't even tell the plow was on that truck. It doesn't drop at all, the springs, everything's heavy duty, and it's a beautiful, beautiful truck. All the tools, big tool kits and that, tool cases are all locked in, and we just gotta leave with the superintendent of schools for our public works day, but we'll have the truck there on display so everybody can kind of see how it's outfitted. And one thing that Casey didn't put in, but he wouldn't know, is we're working before the 22nd with service levels for public works with respect to snow and street sweeping and that sort of thing, because right now our snow policy leaves us with too much ice buildup, but we also don't want to be plowing to the street. That's ridiculous. So there's a template I've done before with Public Works where you determine how much your equipment's worth an hour, your wages, how many hours it takes to do one job at such and such an hour, and that's how we build a service level. So we determine how many hours, we determine the cost of doing it. That determines how much time we spend on the roads. There is an expectation here right now that as soon as it snows, we're plowing, and that's not the way it is, because everything costs money. So anyways, we'll be working on that next week with Sharon, and we'll bring that to, not so much to the budget, but we'll bring it probably in May so you can see what it is. And then the new snow policy, I'm hoping will come to you in May or June so we can get that done. And that is Casey's report.
Thank you. Any questions, Tim?
Just had a question.
Sure.
Did both, because I know I kind of heard what you were saying, but I wasn't sure if I caught the whole thing. Casey and Chris, did they both pass their first levels?
They passed their original testing. Casey passed his original testing. Chris is going to rewrite, which is fine. Casey just has to write his provincial exam. The problem with it is that he's been trying to get through to them to get a date. This has been going on for 2 months. And finally I said to him this last week, would you like me to intercede to help you out? He goes, oh, thank God, please would you? So anyway, that's going to be my job tomorrow, is to deal with this, because I'm not pleased.
Well, the longer
that they won't answer.
it goes, the
Yeah.
more he's going to forget.
Well, that's it, and he needs time to study, and of course, I told him he can study at work too if it's quiet, spend some time studying or going home or whatever. And so, and then Chris will write the second try at it's like a practice exam. It's like when I wrote my exams for licensing for insurance, the kind your husband does, Kelly, way back when I thought I could do that, really. And pass the practice exam and pass the provincial, because you have to pass the practice first, and then realize that's not my forte. So, anyways, we'll get them in. But they are doing training, and we have one of our neighbors are coming in as well to help Dave out. We'll soon be able to give him some respite, so it's good news.
All right, thank you. Anything else? All right, Parks and Rec, Kelly.
Hello again. So for the month of March, we had 135 active memberships for the Waypoint, 14 with Arctic Spas. Our numbers are still staying up there pretty good. Sam's Stay and Play program, which runs every Wednesday morning from 9 to 11:30, is continuing to have really great turnouts. The 4 weeks in March, those are the numbers 21, 26, 22, 45. It seems every second week we get a really strong turnout because we get the lake community that comes out. And then on the alternate weeks, they actually have a stay and play program I think it's at Lake Dell on the south side of the lake. So that's where our numbers fluctuate a bit. I received a really awesome email from our FCSS coordinator, Brandy. She actually received the feedback on the program, and I shared it just below. I won't get it all out for you guys, but yeah, just really supporting the stay and play and having the experience and just appreciating it. And she also, I'll share it with Sue at the library, because she also commends the library program on what they're doing in our community. So it's a crazy turnout. Our field house is packed, like with these moms and tots, and there's stuff everywhere. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, that's going very well. Sam and Rachel have also, they've been working on new party packages for our facility. That's a big things, you know, our birthday parties and the bowling and the field house and the skating. So we've just added some different add-ons that people can rent, you know, if they're doing a party in the bouncy house or in the field house, they can add the bouncy house. That's always been there, but now we have Gaga ball pit, a glow party, parachute, different games.
Does this have Nerf guns?
We tried it. It was an absolute disaster. We will not do it again.
Okay.
Yeah. We ended up, they were either broken or stolen,
Oh.
and it was just not worth the headache. So, but we do have laser tag guns, and we are going to do that. And we have black lights now, and just to kind of elevate the experience. So with that, there'll be waivers and stuff. But it's just, you know, some different ideas for revenue generation. And also, one of Rachel's ideas actually was the dry rink. In the summertime, the rink is cool. You know, it's a great place if the sun is, if it's hot in the community, to bring your party inside. And, you know, we have disco lights, we have music already all wired in there, so it's a great opportunity to use that space for a party. Or a family get together. I mean, it can be anything, right? It doesn't have to be kids' birthday parties. We're seeing like seniors' birthday parties and family gatherings for the bowling and stuff. You know, it's like, it really doesn't matter. The party package is for any group that wants to utilize the facility. So a copy of that flyer is attached, by the way. And there's a map on the back that Rachel did, just kind of a fun little caricature thing. If anybody wants to see it, I have a copy here. Let's see, March 27th, I had a meeting at Arctic Spas. They are doing a 30th anniversary concert at our facility on May 3rd. This is a private event. They're sending it out to about 700 invites. Probably expect to see about 500. So probably like half the size of Cord Bamford, maybe a little more. I think we had 800 approximately in Cord Bamford. So we'll see what the turnout is. We will know in advance because it is a private event, so they have to know their numbers, their RSVPs for that. I'm just assisting on the facility side as well. I'm not an organizer with this event, just to be clear. March 31st, I met with students from Leduc County to discuss cost share agreements, which council will see the revised agreement, the final agreement coming forward for approval, and to discuss the grant applications for the facility upgrades. End of March, the 28th, 29th, this was a first. We hosted a men's hockey tournament to wrap up the season. Went super smooth outside of the snow. We had the most awful weather, so they didn't have the greatest attendance, but as most people were hunkered down and staying home. But thanks to Public Works, they were out on that day when we got dumped, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have a tournament, like. So they got both of our parking lots done, which was fantastic.
A lot of snow.
Yeah, so much snow, yeah. So it's crazy. Building operations, March 3rd, Safe and Lock Solutions, they were on site to do some repairs. We have lots of issues with almost every door in our facility. So we've just approved all the repairs and we're just waiting on materials. Probably the biggest or the more noticeable one will be that we're getting new doors at the library entrance because they're constantly failing. So yeah, it will be well received. Let's see. March 31st, we shut the ice plant down with StarTech. We'll be going forward with our regular off-season maintenance, you know, compressor rebuilds and whatnot. All of the ice was removed by April 3rd. Again, in partnership, Public Works helped us, and we've already started baseball training in there last month. So we had ice there last Monday. We actually hosted a hockey practice on March 31st, and then this Monday we had baseball running. So it was a really nice, quick turnaround for our staff. Oh, and we installed I almost forgot, I didn't put it on your report. Air conditioners were installed in the weight room. We installed 3 and then 2 in the library. And this was a 2024 capital project, but we obviously waited until the spring to get it complete. So far it seems to be working well. The library, should be noted, it also offers heat. So when we're yeah, and it's set up for that now. So if it's a cooler day, because the library is always a few degrees colder than the rest of the building, so it's nice that it will actually offset and put in some extra heat in there. So, and then yeah,
And Susan said, thank you, I meant to ask, does that mean it's installed?
It's installed, it's running, it's good. Yeah, it's good, yeah. And then we are doing a garage sale with them. That's a partnership that is going to be in the lobby of the complex. That's something different compared to other library book sales. Usually they're in one of the back rooms, but we're doing everything open in the lobby. Everything is donation. If you get books, they ask for a donation to the library. If you're doing rec stuff or items that we have, we're asking for a donation towards our summer program.
All right, thank you. Question, roller skating, they do that in the arena there?
We used to do it in
Yeah, we have roller skates.
yeah.
We
How long
have,
has that been going on?
no, this is new. The
Oh, it's new,
roller
okay.
skate party package is new, or the add-on to the party package. But we've had roller skates for years in bins and storage. So we're gonna go through and make sure everything is good and cleaned up and fixed
Really?
and stuff.
And that doesn't hurt the surface in there or anything?
No, it's concrete, yeah. So you can have roller skates and the disco ball and lights and music going.
They used to have,
Like
they used to have,
back there.
Yeah,
they used to have parties, because I know I took my kids when they were younger.
Hey?
yeah,
I've taken my kids when they were younger,
Yeah,
because they
we
used to have
used
disco parties and, yeah.
yeah, we used to do events before.
Yeah.
You bet, yeah, family
Carol,
events.
that was in the 80s, they brought them in.
Yeah.
The roller skates are from the 80s, actually. Yeah.
I love roller skating.
All right, oh, cool.
You can come out, Daryl.
Oh, I probably got some dances.
Well, maybe we'll let Kathy know where to host your birthday party.
Roller derby.
Roller derby, yeah.
All right, well, thank you. Any questions, on that? No? Okay, so then, FCS report, we'll get to that next time. So get a motion to accept the state reports for information.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? That is carried. All right, moving right along, 9.1, the CFO report. Cindy?
Hi. Okay, so in the month of March, I assisted the auditors with finalizing the 2024 audit, approved payables and distributed EFT payments. I processed payroll. I welcomed the new part-time finance clerk, Bobby Bullock, to the team. Weekly staff meetings, sent property tax arrears to land titles for registration. 3 tax sales will be taking place this year. Assisted the finance clerks with assessment notices and had them mailed out on March 28th. Applied for all grants required for the 2025 year. Finalized the budget for spring budget adjustments, resident consultations, and then worked on information requests. Outstanding utilities are $69,738.36, of which $4,842 is subject to cutoff. Outstanding taxes, $249,370, of which $85,923 is up for tax recovery, and $117,600 is from 2024 tax notices. In our operating accounts, we had $184,834 at the end of March, and our savings accounts just over $1.1 million, and our line of credit was still at 0.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions, anybody? Okay, motion to accept the CFO report for info.
I can make that motion.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, correspondence, we had a couple there. Donna, do you want to go over them or not? Just
We
accept
can-
them?
We can move them. I mean, the one is for, I'll just give a little bit of information. It's on the Provincial Priorities Act, to provide further clarity on what we're supposed to do with federal grants and the things we have to do to notify the province.
Right.
So it's more work for administration, to be quite honest with you. And if we apply for a federal grant and it doesn't match the Alberta provincial government's priorities, we get donged, basically. So it just makes more work for us. So Jesse and I will be in the bar when this comes into the tax. So they just added more work, in all honesty. They just added more work for us. And they can review, so of course, upon, just give you the review process, and you see what I mean. Upon receipt of the agreement, the portal that we have to type in, portal, will forward the agreement to the appropriate lead ministry for approval. So we have to fill out an intake form, rather than them reading the grant and So we do the intake form. They decide which ministry it goes to. The lead ministry or cabinet, so if it's grants over $1 million and some, the cabinet has to approve it. Will review the agreement, and a municipality or municipal entity, i.e. municipal controlled corporations and municipal commissions, will be notified of the decision to approve or reject the agreement or approve the agreement subject to specific conditions. So if it's a federal grant and Alberta wants specific conditions, now we're into negotiation between 3 levels of government. If the agreement is approved subject to specific conditions, municipality or municipal entity will be given the opportunity to work with the federal entity to incorporate these conditions. So we get permission to do that. The government of Alberta is committed to efficiently screening all agreements, and that's all I'm going to read. And the second one is the electric assistance terminals, and they're called EAPs. I don't know where they come up with this, but anyway. It's basically the electric assistance terminals or assistance devices for people with physical or visual disabilities to assist them. Now, we don't recommend a bylaw by June 30th to bring these machines in because under the Local Authorities Election Act, they can have folks that help them, that can translate for them, that can go into the voting booth with them and read things out loud. They're allowed to do that. So to pass a bylaw to get one of these machines in here when they can have support makes no sense. So this is just for your information. It's just something for Minister McIver, and of course, this letter is more of a clarity what it is, because a lot of folks thought they were voting machine counters, and that's not what they are. So they're just another piece of device that assists an elector who's disabled or has some issues when they can bring in a friend to help them at this point, and they all do for the most part. So it's just an information bulletin for the minister.
All right, thank you. Motion to accept the correspondence for instance.
I will make that motion.
All in favor? Carried. All right, getting to the end here. Public comments?
Not today.
No? Okay. No?
Okay, what's this electronic thing for voting?
Well, it's just a machine that, let's say you have vision problems.
No, I'm talking about registering for our voting here in October. The letter you sent out in our water bill.
Oh, Jesse, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, so it's not a machine. It's voter link, so it's what electors have been currently going through in order to register for your federal provincial elections. Now, it's just an option, right? You don't have to go through voter link. You can come here on the day of. We can verify you. You just need to bring a piece of ID and proof of residency. It's just that now Elections Alberta is giving municipal elections the opportunity to do pre-registered voting. It makes it easier in a way for both the municipality and Elections Alberta, as well as any voters who want to vote ahead, so that on the day of, especially for renters, there's less of an issue if you need to verify your voting ID or anything like that, or you don't have a piece of information that shows that you're renting from a property. You almost don't want to be, worried on the day of election, the only day, to be able to take care of that. So I recommend it, especially for renters, to maybe take a look into pre-registering. It's definitely not a mandatory process. On Elections Alberta side, it helps keep their information up to date and accurate for upcoming provincial and federal elections. And then again, on our side, it gives us a list that we can go through ahead of time. So, we're not taking up taxpayer resources going around house to house and manually creating a voter list every 4 years, right? Imagine the amount of money you'd have to pay me to go house to house. And then if people aren't there, and then I have to leave a note, and then people are calling me, and so on and so forth, right? So this is a more, I feel, taxpayer-effective way to have a verified voter list, and then also easier for certain groups of people to be pre-registered, especially if you're already some people already are going to be pre-registered for federal provincial elections, especially upcoming on the 20th.
And it is very simple to fill out.
Oh, very.
I don't do anything on computers, personal information, nothing.
Totally okay, Debbie.
Totally
I
okay.
will see you on the day of, and we'll just verify you right at the table.
Put it at the back of the line, you can wait.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
You think that would happen? Not.
Yeah. So for renters, it's a little more difficult, right? Because some renters may not have all or some of their bills in their name, right? So like me, I only have one bill in my name that shows that I'm a renter here in Thorsby, but if I paid that bill through my lease, I would have nothing that would show that I'm living here technically in Thorsby, right? Like I can get a postage box, but the postage box doesn't have a specific address. So for renters, we need to find some sort of way for them to be able to easily be able to vote. That's my goal, is ease of vote, so that the most amount of people can be able to come and participate in a democratic election. Now, it's not so much with the renters who have a piece of information that say they vote there, right? I.e. your lease agreement would probably be the easiest thing if you don't have a bill, right? And so these are the things that we want to mitigate.
Roommate, their lease is in his name.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm a resident, but I don't have any.
And that's the difficult part, is we want to make sure that you're able to vote. So it may be worth, as we're getting closer to October, to look into how you're able to verify, whether that means that you come up with a formal agreement between the person whose lease is in the name, like maybe he or she wants to add you to that lease agreement. I don't know. Maybe you want to get an affidavit. Okay, then probably your best option would be, and Donna, check your second, is an affidavit from a registered voter. So what you would do is you would come in on the day of, you'd bring, let's say Kevin. Kevin comes in for you, and Kevin says, I can verify that this woman lives here in Thorsby and is a taxpayer in Thorsby, whether you're renting or not. And then he would be able to sign an affidavit that is sworn by the returning officer, who's Donna, and then you would be able to vote. We would give you the permission to.
I can't do it, we can probably through Jesse, help you a little bit, get on the online, that's not a problem either. I'm the last resort, because I'm here for election day, so, your person that's the lease's name in, he would come in, or she would vouch for you. But if you want to do this ahead of time, Jesse's here. She's here Monday to Friday, so just phone.
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy to help. I want to get the most amount of people who can vote to vote. I don't want people vote. No, you're okay. These are excellent questions, and these are things that I want to mitigate either through voter link or through other resources to be able to. No, not for another few years, correct?
We'll be voted out by October.
Yeah, so just tell us if you have a minute.
Yeah. Always, I would say, any resident, because we're being recorded, can come to the administration here and we will help you. And if we can't help you, we'll tell you why. So, please come. Don't be afraid to come.
Yeah, our goal is ultimately to make sure that every person who can is able to participate within our election and to have an easy election.
Easy election.
Because some people are taking time off work.
Well, it's stressful too when you know you're a resident and you know you're a resident of Alberta and you're standing here and there's a whole bunch of people trying to vote and you can't find yourself here and we don't want to stress you out.
Yes.
I won't have enough candy in my office to keep you calm.
By somebody coming and signing that agreement, and you authorizing it, that should also put her into the federal election because of the civil address.
We would add her to the voter list. We give our final voter list has to be submitted to Elections Alberta by March 31st, 2026.
Right.
Presumably, if Elections Alberta has no issues with their voter list, then they'll have no issues adding that name to the official register. Yeah.
I'm just saying, it actually helps too, because not only is it a town election, it's also for the federal election, then she does not go on this.
Yeah,
This all
should do.
Federal election is coming up in a few days, so
End of April.
They want things done online, and then I called them, they gave me another number, and it's going, so I have to keep trying.
Yeah, I definitely don't know as much about federal elections as I do.
You have no control over the federal.
Yeah.
Well, we'll sure help you with the municipal.
Okay.
Yes, yes, certainly.
Thanks, Debbie, for bringing that.
So when they removed the snow, which I was thankful they did, so we didn't have a pile of snow, but what do we do when they go with that heavy wet snow and there's rolls and rolls of snow blocking your car? I can't shovel that stuff anymore.
Was your car parked up front?
It's in the back, they went through the back alley, and
You
there
have
was
them
just, there's rolls, like, it's piled up on
Yeah,
right.
It's really wet.
So I just
Yeah.
stayed home until it all melted.
You know, all you have to do is you have your phone, the office. Not a problem. What they do is they're trying to get it off the road, because you know we got nasty, icky roads here right
Yeah.
now. And, next time you need to get out, just phone.
I don't have to go anywhere, I just stay home.
Okay,
It doesn't bother me to stay home for 2 weeks.
perfect. We're not bringing you
I'm
groceries.
quite happy. I have lots.
Yeah. No, and, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was, and then I went out and I thought, I think I'll go see my aunt. And I looked behind my car and I said, no, I think I'm staying home for a while.
Good day to stay home, I agree.
Yeah, for sure. But don't hesitate if you need to get out. We had a few calls like that last year. In fact, if I remember correctly, Councillor Muffin, our machine got there the same time you were there with your, Nanook in the north outfit and shovel. So, yeah, just have to let.
Yeah, no, because that was wet.
Oh, it's heavy.
Snow.
It's heavy,
Yeah.
very heavy, so. So those things where you just do your best to get it off the road. So we
Yeah.
got off the road.
And I was happy for that, so,
Yeah,
well, I don't need to go anywhere, so
that's
if
fine.
I have to, I'll phone
You betcha.
somebody. Because I mean, even if you had to phone an ambulance, you wouldn't get, people
No.
would have a hard time getting in
Yeah.
or something, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I would've needed, if I really needed to, I would've phoned
we
somebody.
got there. Yeah, just phone Public Works or get a hold of me. You have my cell number. In fact, you keep phoning me between midnight, 6 in the morning and trying to get you to stop, but.
You are gonna get it.
I know.
For now, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, any other,
I can't
any other
sleep
questions
and I
about
don't go to
Kevin?
bed all night, so I can phone you every hour.
You can, because sometimes I'm in my office in Leduc all night.
So, I just want to bring it to council's attention, we're having some difficulties with tree trimming. And due to our location where our property is, it's a highway and TELUS and power lines and everybody Fortis, they're not taking any responsibility for any of the trees that are overhanging the power lines, telephone lines and stuff. And, I've talked to Andrew about this prior to it. My wife's done the research on it. It's just a smozzle. Anyways, I'm hereby giving you notice that I'll be trimming 2 large trees on one corner of my property, which overhangs my property, 47 inches of this town sidewalk, and then the allowance that Andrew and I had talked about. There's only 2 trees, so they're ready to fall over. So I can, last person I talked to as well, if you don't trim them, they're coming down. And that's taking out the power grid and everything out there.
I'll come over tomorrow if you're around, or let me know when you're around, I'll come over, because we have a customer relations, person that deals strictly with us only on this with the municipality, so let me know. I can phone Nikki, see what's going on.
If they're not taking out they're taking out the power line, so.
Okay. Yeah, let me know which ones they are, and then I'll phone Nikki tomorrow morning. Let me know when you're available. In the morning is good.
Just book me in on there.
Okay, I'll bring you
As
doorbell.
far as taxes go, and these increases that happen every year, I know things go up every year too, but council has to look at this, and it's a hard sell to tell me that
Well,
with taxes the way they are, that you're gonna bank more money for infrastructure for next year or the year after or whatever, and keep banking it, so, we're in a class of our own in this town already. And I hope tomorrow's water announcement or whatever will, be favorable for that cost anyway, but.
Well, it will be, but unfortunately, it's gonna be, a while before we see that break.
But I'm looking at a mortgage payment every month just for taxes and water in this town, and I mean, it's gotta be through, it's gotta be a line drawn somewhere. So just keep in mind every year that when
I agree.
things are going up, that, keep it to the minimum and not just money for the future maybe. I know there's things that can come up anytime, but it's just, out of this world right now for what this town has and offers right now compared to the other ones around in the area. That's just said my piece. That's
Okay,
all.
no, appreciate that. Thank
So
you.
are we gonna get a reduction in water or a reduction in taxes with this big notice?
Well, nothing's gonna happen right away. It's gonna take a while to get this thing going.
What's a while? Yeah, 4 years.
Well, it's, you know what, nothing happened in 25 years, right?
That's right, but I mean,
So now
this has
we-
been going on for how many years?
Well, we have a positive thing, that's all I can say, it's gonna be a positive thing, and unfortunately, it doesn't happen overnight, but, you will, down the line, you certainly will see, you know, if it goes according to Hoyle, you know, we could see $1 million taken off our, budget every year. And if we take $1 million off our budget every year, that, leaves money for infrastructure, leaves money possible, that's up to council whether they wanna reduce taxes, you know, there's lots of possibilities, all kinds.
But that's not helping me as a taxpayer. If you get $1 million and you're using it for infrastructure, it's not bringing my water bill down or my taxes.
I'm just saying it's coming off the budget, Donna, or Debbie, sorry. And you can, you know, whatever council decides how to use it, you know, I can't divulge a whole bunch, there's a lot of things have to be worked out, but it's a positive step. That's all I can say. It's something that's been done that hasn't been done in 25 years, and it should have been done. And, it wasn't, nothing's been done, and so this is the first positive thing that.
This is the first step.
Yeah, it's the first step. And I wish it could happen overnight, but it can't. It's a work in progress, but it's all positive, and who knows how far it's gonna go.
Well, I think a positive is a positive, but it shouldn't take a year or two for that positive up for us.
And I can't answer that right now. I can't. But it's a start, that's all I can say.
You heard that, Cindy?
It's not up to her.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
Yeah.
It's all your fault.
Snap your fingers and make it happen.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have anything, Cameron?
I could do a quick update. Do we have anything from your side, Cindy, for, in close?
No.
Yeah, I'll just do a quick update on water.
Okay, so.
And then you'll know exactly when.
We'll take a 10-minute recess.
Yes.
What time?
Yeah, so I'll let you know.
Debbie's not gonna sleep tonight.
No, I know, she's gonna be pulling me every hour.
I guess.
You can do it again.
Nobody says nothing.
Okay, Cindy, I think I have to call you privately now.
Oh,
I would like to see zero increase, but I'm unfortunately,
Good night.
that's not.
Bye. My first time with Teams, so